Hi guys, the Bibby Stockholm fiasco just gets worse and worse. It seems in typical Tory style the media was leaked information before those relevant received it. Sky News led with the story of how this bacteria had been discovered and that it was necessary to evacuate the barge. However, the people who actually needed clear and concise information, the asylum seekers on the barge, were not provided with the necessary guidance, such as not to use the water for drinking or washing. This suggests that the welfare of those on board the vessel was never a priority, and instead a PR campaign of damage control kicked in instead. Absolutely disgraceful. Have a listen to it explained by Steve Smith from Care for Calais.
Well, it's shocking and quite extraordinary, isn't it? We've been saying for weeks that the Bibby Stockholm is entirely inappropriate to house asylum seekers and refugees. We've been saying that for a number of reasons, which viewers will be well aware of: fire safety, overcrowding, and the like. What absolutely shocked us perhaps most was you showed just now the letter that was issued to those on board. We knew several things. First, this news broke on Sky first, as far as we were concerned. We were then in touch with people on board who hadn't been told at that stage. They hadn't been briefed. They didn't know what it was about. There were then confusing stories passed around on the boat. This is fake news. It's okay. All we need to do is change the shower heads. You'll be going off for 24 hours. All sorts of interesting stories going on. And then finally, some 6 or 7 hours later, they were taken off the barge. When we were talking to them, in the first instances, although they didn't know what had happened, more crucially, they hadn't been told critical things like, don't drink the water, don't take a shower. This is really dangerous to your life. And so, shocking. The other thing, of course, is that the letter reveals, the actual letter given to those on board shows that the original tests, the water sampling, were taken on the 25th of July. Now, we've heard since that those results were available to the contractors or by the contractors on the 7th, and that's the day people moved on board the barge, and also that the Home Office apparently became aware of this on the 9th of August. So what on earth happened in between? So when the Home Office issues a statement saying the health and safety and welfare of the asylum seekers are our top priority, well, frankly, that doesn't seem to be the case. What I'm interested to know, who's going to take the blame for this? I mean, last week it was charities for getting in the way, lefty lawyers for raising unreasonable challenges that use the Home Office's own criteria for those challenges. Who's it going to be next week? It'll probably be...
Briefly, should heads roll?
Well, undoubtedly, heads will roll, because this seems to be the way things are at the moment. If it's not the charities to blame, that's the lefty lawyers to blame, and probably next week it'll be the civil servants to blame for not picking this up in time.
He's completely correct. It will be, of course, the civil servants for not doing their job. It will not be Suella Braverman or Robert Jenick. I believe Robert Jenick gave an interview to Sky, including Sky News and other outlets, on the day that the results had come in, or perhaps a few days after the results had come in, to say that everything was safe. Now, it's possible that he hadn't received the information that it was not safe, and he just told the media that it was safe, or it's possible that he knew and he just didn't give a crap. Either way, somebody is going to be losing their job, or at least under a lot of pressure. But of course, this Steve is correct here when he says who is going to be blamed. It will be the civil service. And of course, the right-wing media will jump on this saying, okay, this is the blob. They haven't been providing the minister with the relevant information. Perhaps they need to fire a few people. Maybe it's people working from home, something like this. But of course, there will be an orchestrated attempt to blame the civil service, to blame people working at the Home Office, but of course not the ministers involved, including Robert Jenick and Suella Braverman. Just think about the human aspect here. The media were told before the asylum seekers were. Means that somebody at the Home Office has been convinced that, well, the priority here is to protect the government, not the asylum seekers, not to provide them with the necessary information before the media is informed. You can blame misinformation here, but I think there's also a culture within the Home Office, and it's been pushed by the likes of Suella Braverman and others like her, that we need to treat these people with as little respect as possible. These people need to be deterred from coming to Britain. We need to create a hostile environment for them so that they don't arrive. And, you can imagine how this filters down to people who work on the barge, perhaps the security companies at the site. They're, of course, being convinced that, well, we need to create a hostile environment, treat these people like scum. And, people who already have a negative view of asylum seekers will no doubt go ahead with that as well, go along with that. Somebody will be fired, somebody will lose their job, but unfortunately it won't be Suella Braverman or Robert Jenick. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.